And now, of course, it is almost my most fun part to start our Sunday morning service. Good morning, beautiful people. I am Vicki Jeter, your practitioner, spiritual director for Louisville Center for Spiritual Living Teaching Chapter. Can anyone believe this is already the first weekend of September? It's like, oh my gosh, time is going way too fast for me. And of course, this is also Labor Day weekend. And those of us who arrived early this morning, we just got done doing a little research. We have President Grover Cleveland to thank for Labor Day. And he designated Labor Day a special holiday. The first one was in 1894. And it's actually in honor of all general laborers because we deserve an extra day off. Now, Vernon and I are always thinking that for us, Labor Day heralds the muscular dystrophy telethon, which is a piece of culture, I believe, that did not need to be lost, but so be it. We move on. And in moving on, today, being a new month, we move to a whole new theme. So we've been doing for the whole year Living Out Loud, and this month is dedicated to loving out loud, which I just think, how can we not have so much fun with that? And most especially, LCSL is excited this morning because our guest speaker, who's not even really a guest, she's more like our mother, Miss Reverend Carolyn Harvill, is here to speak for us today. And we're so excited to welcome her. This will be the first time she's spoken since she retired in early 2021. I'm just so grateful to have you here, Reverend Carolyn, in your delightful hat and your sunshine smile. And that just starts the whole thing right there. And so, all of that being said, let us take a moment to set intention, individually and together. Check in and see what your intention is for being here today. Our shared intention is celebrating loving out loud together, and especially moving through as a launch to all of this lovely being, Reverend Carolyn, who poured all of her love into LCSL to bring us into being who we are. And so with that in mind, love and gratitude, we come into opening prayer. Just take that pausing breath. Allow yourself to feel more completely welcomed. Allow yourself to check in and see that you are physically comfortable. And we say, thank you, Presence of Life, for the gift of this day, for the gift of this opportunity, for the gift of everything that has already been named. We know that there is one life, one love, one infinite law that is pouring itself through each and every one of us, expressing and emerging as the next possible highest good for each and every person here and for us collectively, everyone within the sound of my voice, everyone who participates as having been touched or be a part of Louisville Center for Spiritual Living Teaching Chapter. And I call this time open, guided, directed, good, and very good, as led by Reverend Carolyn Harvill. Thank you, God. I release it, I let it be, and so it is. So as has been so named, I welcome each and every one of you to Louisville Center for Spiritual Living Teaching Chapter this morning. Thank you for your presence today, whether you're here with us right now or whether you're seeing us on our YouTube channel. We would not be here without you. Thank you, thank you. And we do start each day through Louisville Center, greeting God and the angels and anyone who might be seeking to find us. Everyone is welcome here, regardless of what faith you started out in, regardless of your path of life, regardless of your questions or what you're seeking today. You're welcome here to see about discovering it. And that brings us to our opening song, We Welcome You, Spirit, by our own Kai Lee.
We welcome you, Spirit, as we gather here to love one another in ways you make clear. We lift up our hearts in joy and open our minds. We welcome you, Spirit, in this holy time. We welcome you, Spirit, as we gather here to love one another in ways you make clear. We lift up our hearts in joy and open our minds. We welcome you, Spirit, in this holy time. We welcome you, Spirit, in this holy time.
I'm sitting here moving right into the next thing, and Vernon's telling me, unmute. That song brings up so many beautiful memories. I'm just so grateful that we have those recordings to share on a day like this. And this moves us into our mission and vision. The mission of Louisville Center for Spiritual Living is to teach personal transformation as a virtual community, living the principles of science of mind and celebrating all paths to God, which demonstrates in our vision, which is a world that honors and respects all people. And this brings us to the application of what we believe. At first, as you see that image, you might wonder for a moment, but if you stop and think about it, what matters most is how you see yourself. And this brings us to sacred reading and meditation this morning with the delightful Miss Katrina Darrow. Katrina?
Thank you. So Home Office shared the following inspirational message, which actually includes direct quotes from the Science of Mind book. I took a creative license to modify significantly the morning message and morning reading. So the Science of Mind on page 433 says, ultimately, we shall see that the universe rests on the shoulders of love, that God is love, and that all the error of man are the result of ignorance of his own true nature. An evolving soul seeks to judge no one, condemn no one, and that each must ultimately find his home in heaven within. Living a spiritual life requires a conscious understanding of spirit, or love expresses itself as all of us. Recognizing the divinity within all of us starts with recognizing our own divinity within. When we consciously direct the energy of love, we transform the communities around us. Our intuition is the way that spirit communicates with us. According to Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind on page 113, intuition is spirit knowing itself. So when we listen to our intuition and allow it to guide us, we are living in the flow of love. God is synonymous with love. Because God is all there is, love must be all there is. On page 297 of the Science of Mind, as all is mind, and as we attract to us what we first become, until we learn to love, we are not sending our love vibrations, and are not until we send out those vibrations can we actually receive love in return. So for our morning meditation, I want to give you a little bit of background information. Enjoying the experience of being loved and loving others starts with loving ourselves. So let's dive deeper into self-love by sharing an experience that I learned through the Science of Mind teen camps, being the young adult teen advisor and also the national young adult director for the Center for Spiritual Living. This practice of self-love has been modified in many formats with the goal of opening our hearts to know and receive love in an embodied and magnificent way within. So I would describe this experience as the realization of Source, that it has this infinite ability to fully love and for us to be receptive of that love. The more we practice receiving the love, the more we're able to see, hear, feel, and know love in every area of our lives. So today I'm expanding this practice of self-love to a visual guided imagery meditation. And when we do this experience in person, there's often loving music in the background. And for our experience today, 2 of those songs will be played later on in the service, not during the actual experience. So you can look forward to our songs for special music and our closing song. And in your mind, just know that when those songs are playing, it can bring you back to this meditation as though that is in the background of what you're hearing. So this experience is a connection experience, and in person we called it A's and B's. In modifying the A's and B's experience to the digital format, I would like us to just be present right here and right now, and allow us to go into the visualization and guided imagery so that we can fully capture the A's and B's experience. So feel free to adjust your body and get comfortable and settled into your seat. When you are comfortable, please close your eyes or lower your gaze. Think about the most expansive word that you could use to describe yourself and to describe God, Mother Nature, universe, infinite power, higher knowing, infinite present, or source. Think about that expansive word. And when I refer to God, source, or universal presence, I want you to choose that word that is most in alignment with your personal system and within alignment with your beliefs that best fits how you experience oneness. Breathe in love. Breathe out love. Bring your awareness to your heartbeat deep within your body. Find the pulse or gentle beat. Place your hand on your heart and really feel your heartbeat. Notice the love in your heart. Feel that love expanding within you. Breathe in love. Breathe out love. Imagine yourself sitting or standing in a beautiful, safe room or out in nature. In this place of safety, feel yourself grounded and receptive to receiving infinite love. The air that is inhaled and exhaled is pure love. The beat of our hearts is love. The intuition we feel, see, hear is love. Love is all there is. Love is in this moment, here and now. Breathe in the love. Breathe out love. With gentle comfort and love, imagine the hands of God, Mother Nature, universe, infinite power, higher knowing, infinite presence, or source holding our hands. We can feel the vibration of love and the warmth of love through our palms and fingers as source fills our hands with infinite love. Imagine that Mother Nature is rubbing our backs, comforting us with intentional love. Receive the gift of support and love from the universal life presence right now. Imagine the oneness and wholeness of God hugging us with compassion and nurturing. Receive the hug with gratitude and allow the love to flow through your entire body. Feel our hearts expanding this love into every organ, every bone, every muscle, and every part of our physical body. Breathe in love. Breathe out love. Breathe in the love of God and Mother Nature and feel the embracing hug of this infinite process. Open to the unconditional love of Source that is here at this moment. Receiving the flow of love in our mind, body, and soul. With joy and gratitude, continue to receive this love. Allow in all this love, fill your heart, mind, and body with this higher knowing of unconditional love. Expanding our experience of oneness, wholeness, and love. Open to this infinite expression of love. As you continue remembering that you are completely safe and supported, continue to imagine holding the hands of Source, having your back rubbed by Mother Nature, and being hugged by infinite presence. Feel the love, embody the love, receive the love. Breathing in love, breathing out love. Imagine this God source or universal energy whispering in your ear the following affirmations. I am love. You are love. Love is all there is. Love fills every cell of this body. Love is in every aspect of life. I open myself to receiving love. I have the courage to be who I am and love myself out loud. You are love. The infinite supply of love is always available. Love is my divine birthright. You are loved. I have the courage to be who I am and love myself out loud. I am precious. You are precious. I am love. You are love. I am magnificent. You are magnificent. Love is all there is. So breathing in the love and breathing out the love. As we continue remembering that we are holding the hands of Source, having our backs rubbed by Mother Nature, and being hugged by infinite presence of Source. Feel the love, embody the love, receive all love. Continuing to breathe in love and breathe out love. With your eyes closed, we're going to take a brief moment of silence. When we love ourselves unconditionally, we can love others unconditionally. There is a popular song that came out of the CSL teen camp that's called I Love Myself So Much, So I Can Love You So Much, So You Can Start Loving Me. Inspiring more love in our world starts with loving ourselves. When we love ourselves, we can love each other fully. We can begin to recognize that life is filled with love, and we begin to see it everywhere we go. The more we love, we see in the world, the more the world shifts around us. Others become transformed by the love we give. In turn, they serve as examples of different ways that love can look in our lives, inspiring others to make the same choice. So feel the love, embody the love, receive the love, bringing in love through our breath, through our lives. God is love. I am love. We as a community of LCSL are truly pure love. And I am grateful for this infinite expression in our lives, through our lives as our community. I let this expansion of love be so in all of our lives. And so it is. Amen. You are welcome to keep your eyes closed during our special music by the Agape Choir. The song is, I Love Myself So Much.
Yay! I think that's the most collective dancing maybe we've done here as a group together. That was awesome. And so now this brings us to our introduction of our yearly theme, of course, Living Out Loud. Our monthly theme shifts now to Loving Out Loud, and this person actually needs no invitation or introduction in one way, but I just couldn't resist. Plus, I am recognizing we do have at least one completely new person here this morning. So that gives me extra reason to be able to officially introduce you to Reverend Carolyn Harvill. She is the lovely lady in the hat. And Reverend Carolyn and I originated our journey in Spring, Texas, like way back there, about 2003 or 4. And we both were raised up under Reverend Jesse Jennings, and we served with Jesse for those 3 or 4 years together. And then I got jettisoned out to Louisville, Kentucky. And when I got here, everybody said, when are we going to have a center? And I knew that Reverend Carolyn was in ministerial school. And I thought to myself, there is such good chemistry. Do I have the courage to call this person up and say, did you ever think about bringing your ministry north, Carolyn? And finally, as an answer to prayer, I placed that call. Talk about a moment of passionate courage. Oh my God, I could have told that story. That was a moment of passionate courage for both of us. And I will just leave it there because this is for Reverend Carolyn to do on this beautiful day. I turn this over to you, Reverend Carolyn.
All right. Thank you, Vicki. And I do remember those early years. When I first met you, I was new to Science of Mind. I was finding my way. I was starting to take practitioner classes. I was starting to take a lot of classes. And so that was the beginning of my journey. And Vicki has been very instrumental in that because she's been my teacher for all these years. And so I take this moment to say thank you, Vicki, for all that you have done. And I thank everyone here this morning for the opportunity to speak. It has been, as I mentioned earlier, since I retired that I have spoken on a Sunday morning. And so it's a little, it's a big deal for me because it's been years and I'm asking myself, do you still have it? Do you still have the rhythm? Because I think a speaker has to have a rhythm, and I know for myself I do. And so we'll find out whether or not I have a rhythm this morning. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to check it out. I really am tempted to say, listen, we're going to sit for 20 minutes and we're going to reflect on what Katrina shared with us, because she shared so much. That was such a deep and rich time. There was so much. I kept thinking, oh, you could have a whole talk about that one phrase. You could talk about this. And there's so much there that I'm tempted to do that, but I'm not going to do it. I worked really hard on this talk. So I'm going to see if I can give it. All right. But let's start out. I have an affirmation that I wanted to share with you to begin. I have the courage to be who I am and love myself out loud. That's one of the affirmations from National. And I have the courage to be who I am and love myself out loud. Well, there's a lot of questions that come up from that. First of all, what is love? What is God? You know, I think about these things in that song that we just sang. It's so roundabout. I love myself. I love you. You love me. We love each other. I can love myself. You know, and it's all this movement of love in our lives and in our experience. There's a phrase that says, every piece of love, every intention or expression of love is like a ripple that creates a huge wave of love in the world. And so every time we choose to be kind to ourselves, every time we choose to be kind to someone else, to love someone else, to put someone else above or in front of us, then we're creating a ripple of love. And I think we would all agree that in this world today, that's what we need. We need something to fight all the anger and all the disruption and all of the them and us kind of like that feeling and lecture and language. And so the way to do that, that we can do individually each and every day of our lives, is to love people, to love circumstances, to love everything, to love God, and to love ourselves. You know, we talk about loving ourselves, and for me, at least, and I think I'm not alone in this, that's hard to do. You know, we really don't naturally love ourselves. I'm not talking about be proud of ourselves, that's part of it, but I'm talking about that deep love. We have an internal critic. Let me see a show of hands. How many have an internal critic that is very vocal and just out there all the time? That critic is what we want to change. We want that to be an encourager, a supporter, not a critic that tears us apart and tears what we do and who we are and how we think about ourselves apart. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. I went even back further. When I was talking about what is love, I thought, well, I often say, and everyone else often says, God is love. God is love. Well, okay, what does that mean? What does it mean for God to be love? It not more than just this in the sky kind of a thought, but what does it mean that God is love? I was teaching one of the basic science of mind classes, and I said to a young man, God is for you, not against you. And you could see him physically react to that. It was amazing. It was like, what? What? God is for me, not against me? In his background, in his experience, God was the great judge in the sky, and he was after you. He really was looking for whatever it would take to make sure that you went to hell and didn't get to heaven. And so he had that in his background. He had that in his very being. And so to think that God was not that, God was not the judge, but God was the supporter and the uplifting and support and for us was just so shocking for him. And it had been shocking for me too, but not as deeply as I saw in his face that day. So God is for us, not against us. It is there to support us, to give us what we need, to provide us the circumstances and the actual nitty gritty of whatever it is that in our life is for us that we are there to do. And it wants us to ask for help. It wants us to use it for what it is that we want in our lives. And that is the way, one of the ways that it expresses the love that it is towards us, because it's out there for us all the time. So I read a devotional not too long back, and the woman was saying the only word, the only concept you need to understand is everywhere present. You don't need anything else. You need to know everywhere present. So when you're in a place where you feel alone, when you're feeling that you're not moving where you want to be, you need to remember everywhere present. Not only where it looks like God's there, not only when it feels like God's there, but all of the time, everywhere present. So knowing that Spirit is everywhere present and living with that and engrossing it, enabling it in your life and in your experience, and then knowing that it is for you, not against you, that it is benevolent, that gives you the foundation for a life that is what you're meant to be. Let me see if I can find that. We came into this world to experience life, and that is why we're here. And the experience that we have is our personal expressing of who we are as individuals. We came to stand out, not blend in. We came to experience our experience, not someone else's. But we also came into a culture which is very good about telling us what we need to experience and how we need to experience and how we need to respond. And it is telling us from the day we get here that this is acceptable and that's not acceptable, that this is where it's supposed to be and that's where. But we are not meant to be a copy of someone else. We're not meant to fit in. We're meant to stand out and to be individually who we are. So how do we do that? How do we understand who we are and then live that? When God created all of this, and God is all of it, and he created us and he brought us forth with that desire for us to be and to experience all that we can and all that is ours to do. And one of the things that it did was it gave us a point of contact. We talk about intuition. When you talk about intuition, how do you think of it for yourself? Do you feel like that you have a strong intuition? Intuition has been called the point of contact where spirit speaks to itself. Spirit speaks to itself. Now, we know that everywhere present means that God is us. It's everything that we are, and it's everything that everyone else is. And so we don't say that anything is not God. It's all God. But there is this point in our experience and our understanding that is called intuition, where it is clear communication. Now, we have muddied it up sometimes, but we can make it clearer by practicing it and knowing it. You increase your intuition by expecting it to be there, expecting it to be trustworthy, knowing that it is, and then by respecting it. How do you treat something that you respect? How do you show respect to anything or anybody? You recognize them as the individual that they are, or as the unique thing that they are. You know, there's respect for animals, there's respect for plants, there's respect for circumstances, but it's about seeing them for who they are and then listening to their voice and what it's saying to us. A stronger intuition is developed by one, expecting it, and two, respecting it, listening to your intuition, expecting it to be there, and then listening to it. All of us have intuition, and I know that you all know that. Some of us have very strong intuition, and you know people that when they say, oh, we're not going to do that, you understand that they have a really strong guide in their lives, and you accept that. And you accept in your own life the intuition about certain things. But some things you will respect, some things you won't. Some things you will listen to completely. When you get the urge to not go home that way, go a different way, you don't even question it. You just do it. And maybe later you hear that there was an accident on the route that you usually take. But you don't even think about that. You get this intuition, go this way, and you simply go. You meet people and you know that they're trustworthy because there's just something about how you feel around them that says that they are trustworthy. You wake up in the morning and you stand in your closet and you think, okay, what am I going to wear today? What would fit in for this day? And you decide on a outfit that's a little more formal than you normally wear. And you think, wonder what that's about. And you go through your day, and in the afternoon, there's a big meeting that you didn't know was going to happen. And you feel good about being dressed the way that you are. Intuition, those little things that help us, guide us, direct us, help us to know that we are connected, know that spirit is communicating with us. So developing that is something that I would really encourage you to think about. And the way you do it is you listen. If you want to change your relationship to another person, listen to them. And that relationship will grow deeper and more understanding. If you truly spend your time not judging what they're saying or not determining how it affects you, but truly listening with the goal of understanding where they're coming from, you will change that relationship. And it goes for you as well. If you will listen to yourself, listen to your intuition, listen to what you like, to what you want, you will change your relationship with your very self. You will deepen it. You will grow more trustworthy of it or trusting of it. It just makes such a difference. So we know that we are love because God is love and God is everything. So we're love. It's just that simple, just that straightforward. And so that gives us the foundation for building a newer, more expansive life. I don't know, Vernon, put up that first quote, please. We exist for the purpose of self-expression. Think about that a minute. We exist for the purpose of self-expression, not to be someone else, not to follow some rule set down by anything else. We exist. We came into this world unique, and it's our job to express that uniqueness. The infinite has already implanted within us an instinctive intuition, which is the spiritual knowledge of good. So we've got it, and it's instinctive, it's intuition, and it's ours. And our whole growth results from an inner awakening. The more we awaken to who we are, the more we awaken to the connection that we have, the more we are expressing who we are, the uniqueness of us, and that is the growth. Our goal is to express, be a self-expression. It is also to be purer and purer spirit. How do I say that? We are put here with the ability and the goal of being so at one with spirit that we move and have our being in that spirit all the time and in all ways. And so the more we listen to who we are, the more we express who we truly are, then the closer we are to the full expression of Carolyn as spirit, as Tammy as spirit, as Joan as spirit. The clearer that becomes, and we bless ourselves and each other and the world with that journey. So, in developing our intuition, as I said earlier, we expect it there to be there and respect it by listening to it. um, we talked earlier about the self-critic. How are you doing with your self-critic? A few days ago, I reached for a large glass of water and ice, and instead of picking it up, I knocked it over. And so it went everywhere, and there's water and ice all over the place. And I started in, oh, you are so stupid. Why did you do that? Look at the mess you've made. This is terrible. This is my inner voice. And I'm not telling you as mean as that inner voice is. Just to know, I know that you have your own. And it just went in full blown, blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden I thought, wait a minute. I teach love. I teach self-respect. That's not where I want to be. In recent years, I know I remind myself often, I want to be calm. I want to be without anger, without frustration. I want to be accepting and blessing of everything in my life. Setting that intention has resulted in more gentleness than I've had before, but I still have that inner voice in me that is anger, and it is judging, very judgmental, very angry. And so I get this opportunity when I make a big mess to then think in a different way, to stop myself from being that critical person to being accepting. I do this with myself, and I do this with other people. There are things that other people do that I don't think they should do. I think it's just terrible that they do them. And I am really angry with them when they do it. So I get this opportunity on a regular basis to say, really? Do you really have any control over what they do? Is it your business what they do? Is it anything that affects you? Does it need to affect you? Are you going to let it affect you? Or are you going to bless them and move on? That is how I am becoming more and more self-loving. I am being more self-accepting. I know that I get angry. It's okay that I get angry. It doesn't make me a bad person. It just means that I'm a person experiencing something I don't want to experience. And so it's up to me to make a new choice and to have that experience of peace and equilibrium that I want to have in my life. I don't have a lot of drama in my life anymore. I used to, but I don't now. We live in the country. I don't have to deal with traffic. When I go to town and I have to deal with traffic and the rudeness of people sometimes, then I really work at not having it affect me. But right now, I don't have that much of that because I don't interact with that many people. And so my life is more peaceful than it has ever been. And I am very guardian of that. I don't want to lose that. And so I really work at not getting upset. Um, I have enough news that I know what is going on, but I don't watch the news. It is just too distressing. I can't do anything about that. And years ago, and some of you will remember, I gave a talk about, do I need to have an opinion about that? I don't remember the author who first came up with that, but do I need to have an opinion about that? And the truth is, most of the time, I don't. I'm not going to change anything by having an opinion. I'm not going to be a, well, the word left. I'm not going to be a vehicle of making change in the world or in another person's life. Okay, that's not my place. And so my place is to love them as well as I love myself. Now, throw up the next quote, please, Vernon. And how many people remember who Louise Hay is? Louise Hay was a powerful spiritual influence in our lives for the last, oh gosh, at least 40 years, maybe more, probably more than that. I think she was 90 when she died. But anyway, Louise Hay, if you don't know who she is, look her up. She's the author of the Little Blue Book, which was a book of affirmations for every individual thing that was happening in your life. You got a cold? Get the blue book and find that affirmation. Use it, and you'll get better. You got a broken leg? Look it up. And she was just wonderful. And she made this quote, and I wanted to share it with you. You have been criticizing yourself for years. Would you agree with that? We've been criticizing ourselves for years, and it hasn't worked. It hasn't made you a better person. It hasn't made you more joyful in your life. So why not try approving of yourself and see what happens? Try approving yourself. Okay, I realized that I was thinking that I had more time than I did. So I really apologize for that. But I do want to close with Vicki reminded me as I was getting ready for this talk that I would close it with a prayer. And she's right. I always closed my sermons with a prayer or a meditation. And often I did it with a meditation because I wanted people to have that moment to reflect on what they'd heard, to remember, to think, okay, what have I just heard that I don't want to forget? What is it that was really that kind of ding that I got? Because there were a lot in the talk and they spoke differently to different people. And so I always would do that and would encourage people to think back on what they've heard and see what they wanted to take with them into the coming week. And so today we're going to do a meditation, but it's a song and we're going to sing it. And you'll notice that it's not about telling God what we want. It's about listening to God. It's about being in the presence and trusting that God will speak, that God will bring about what is in our hearts and in our needs. So, Vernon, if you would put on the song. I encourage you to sing along or just simply be.
Open my eyes that I may see glimpses of truth thou hast for me. Place in my hand the wonderful key that shall unclasp and set me free. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my eyes, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open my ears that I may hear voices of truth thou sendest clear. And while the wave notes fall on my ear, everything false will disappear. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my ears, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open my mouth and let me bear gladly the warm truth everywhere. Open my heart and let me prepare love with thy children thus to share. Silently now I
Spirit, we just simply say thank you. Thank you for the knowing of who you are and what you are and your presence in our lives. And so it is, and so it has been, and so it will be.
Wow, that was absolutely amazing, Reverend Carolyn. Thank you so much. I feel so fulfilled and full of joy hearing you today. For our September prosperity affirmation, please know that the ways that you can contribute are in the chat, but we are so grateful as a community for the time, talents, and treasures that you share with us. And our affirmation is having the courage to love out loud prospers my life in every way. And I will pass this over to Vicki for the morning offering.
Thank you, Katrina. It is always so much my pleasure to be my part in this relay that happens around the cycle of our prosperity. There is myself, there's the practitioner of the week, there is the speaker of the week, there is Pat Ferguson, and there's all of you. And we are a part of the cycle of circulation that gives and receives and gives again. And it is so much fun to take part in this, knowing that absolutely this is a fulfillment of love, which is a fulfillment of the glory of God. Thank you for this practice. Thank you for the need to practice. If we didn't have need to practice, who would be having all this fun? And so with that gratitude, we just release it into the law, knowing that it just keeps going and flowing. And I release it, I let it be, and so it is.
And so it is. So for our announcements this morning, we have a First Wednesday spiritual connection, which is on this Zoom link on September 6th between 7 p.m. and 8:30. And Don Jose Ruiz brings a presence of the most gentle intensity, imparting his perspective of practical Toltec spirituality for living today. And I am so looking forward to that time together. It is a 45-minute presentation, and then we'll have an opportunity to discuss as a community afterwards. So please join us for our First Wednesday Spiritual Connection. Our men's group meets via this link on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please join the men for spiritual growth. Next week's speaker is Vicki, and she will be talking about love on a spectrum. I'm so excited and look forward to our time with Vicki next week. And we have an incredible course that is being offered. The book is by Jesse Jennings, and you've heard about him earlier in the service. But we will be learning the essential earnest homes, and the class begins on Monday, September 18th. And the time frame is from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on this Zoom link. Vicki is the instructor, and Tammy, one of our practitioners, will be assisting in the course. So please join myself and others for this spectacular class. I am so excited and looking forward to it. We have a volunteer opportunity with our tech support. So please help let people in on Sundays is one aspect of volunteering, or begin to train to actually run the Zoom and do what Vernon does during our Sunday service. So if this is something that calls or that it's on your heart, please reach out to Vicki or Vernon to receive more details about how you can support the community with your technical skills. And our community has been doing this incredible unexpected income initiative. And part of it has been all of us praying as practitioners and community members for receiving unexpected income. And we have been increasing throughout the month of these wonderful gifts of Spirit showing up. For myself, I have received so many tangible and untangible ways that prosperity has shown up. This week, we've had on our wish list for the last 2 years a cabinet for our kitchen, and it's been in our IKEA cart, and someone gifted us that counter. Yes, it is used, but that is a prosperity of something that it fulfills our needs and purposes. And so it's reflected in here along with other ways that the community have been receiving unexpected income. For the center itself, we have also had gifts to the center, and this reflects the unexpected income that has come through and blessed our center. So thank you all of those who've contributed unexpectedly to the center. Please stay after for sharing time. The sharing time is after our benediction, and I also offer prayer after sharing time. So if that's something that interests you, please stay. And as we all know, you are magnificent. Our closing song, which I mentioned earlier, is I Love Myself the Way I Am by J. Joseph.
Myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. I'll always be the perfect me. There's nothing to rearrange. I'm beautiful and capable of being the best me I can. I love myself just the way I am. I love you just the way you are. There's nothing you need to do. When I feel the love inside myself, it's easy to love you. Behind your fears, your rage and tears, I see your shining star. And I love you just the way you are. Love the world the way it is, 'cause I can clearly see that all the things I judge are done by people just like me. So till the birth of peace on earth that only love can bring, I'll help it grow by loving everything. I love myself the way I am, and still I want to grow. But change outside can only come when deep inside, I know I'm beautiful and capable of being the best me I can. And I love myself just the way I am. I love myself just the way I am.
So we have a new benediction for a new month. Pardon me. And I would like to emphasize that Katrina and I put our heads together and realized that her reading this morning was our benediction for the month. Ultimately, we shall see that the universe rests on the shoulder of love, that God is love, and that all the errors of man are the result of ignorance of his own true nature. An evolving soul judges no one, condemns no one, but realizes that all are on the road of experience, seeking the same goal, and that each must ultimately find his home in heaven within. Ernest Holmes.